A team meeting and walkthrough yesterday. As for the Giants, star defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul had surgery to repair a core muscle, also known as a sports hernia. That will have him out at least the rest of the regular season. Tonight he'll be replaced by rookie Romeo Aquara. Left guard Justin Pugh is also missing his 5th straight game with a sprained right knee, but the Giants get back running back Shane Vereen, who will play for the first time since week 3. He has been out with a torn triceps.
All right, Michelle, and that could make a difference. It snowed here. We had snow showers this afternoon. It has stopped, but the field is still glazed, so the surface will be a little slippery tonight. And Mariano Rivera, the great Yankee pitcher, gets to ring the opening bell. Actually, he should be ringing the closing bell. But in any event, there's Mariano as part of the pregame ceremony here. They shot off a whole bunch of fireworks and a lot of smoke, and you can see it's just settled into the stadium, and has nothing to do with the weather itself.
Looks like the fog bowl out there. I mean, maybe the temperature itself is holding it down. Usually it sort of dissipates and goes off, and this is just hanging.
Thank you, Dr. Doppler.
Yeah, no problem.
The Giants won the, there it is, the Giants won the toss. They will receive. Bobby Rainey is back to receive the kick, and he fields it at the 5-yard line. And Rainey, trying to get to the outside, gets taken down up at the 26-yard line. And we'll take a look at the New York offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Rashad Jennings, Liberty University. Odell Beckham Jr., LSU.
Sterling Shepard, Oklahoma.
Victor Cruz, Massachusetts.
Will Tye, Stony Brook.
Eric Flowers, All About the U.
Marshall Newhouse, TCU.
Weston Richburg, Colorado State.
John Jerry, Ole Miss.
Bobby Hart, Florida State.
Offensive line mixing and matching, especially the left guard spot for the Giants this season. So the first scrimmage play from the 26-yard line on this Sunday night, and the handoff goes to Rashad Jennings, their leading ground gainer, and he picks up about 4 to the 30-yard line. So Eli Manning, last year was a very good season for Eli. This year not quite as good, but still 22 TDs, 12 interceptions. He's had some big days, and he's going to go here without a huddle on 2nd down and 7. Jennings flanks him in the backfield. You've got Beckham off to the right side with Ty, the tight end, in the slot. Stack a couple of receivers to the left, and a quick pass, as he is prone to do, to Will Ty, the tight end who lined up in that slot. Brandon Carr forces him out of bounds, and Eli this year has been throwing about every 2.5 seconds.
A lot of times you use Odell Beckham as a decoy, and then you get people open off of him. Everybody paying attention to 13, and nobody went out with Ty.
So the quick release from Manning, first down at the 41-yard line. And a little hesitation there, trying to pick his spot is Rashad Jennings. Let's take a look at that Dallas defense.
Tom Crawford, Boise State.
Malik Collins, Nebraska.
Terrell McClain, South Florida. Marcus Lawrence, Boise State. Anthony Hitchens, Iowa.
Sean Lee, Penn State.
Brandon Carr, Grand Valley State. Barry Church, Toledo. Byron Jones, UConn.
Anthony Brown, Purdue University.
Orlando Scandrick, Boise State University.
It's been a very tough run defense for Dallas. Not so much pass defense. And Manning will throw. He was almost sacked, and he gets it away. He gets outside of the pocket, so there is no grounding. And a flag goes down, and it looks like the right tackle, Bobby Hart.
There's no intentional grounding. There was a receiver in the area. However, there was holding. Number 68 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
And it is the right tackle, Bobby Hart.
Tyrone Crawford, probably their best pass rusher, gets a bit of an inside move here against Bobby Hart, who of course was a replacement for Marshall Newhouse at that tackle position early on. And that's going to be the question, as it usually is with the Giants. How will Bobby Hart, how will Eric Flowers, the other tackle, hold up? The Cowboys not really known for a great pass rush, but so far advantage Crawford.
2nd down and 17 after the penalty. And Eli this time under center from the 34-yard line. And he hands the ball off to Jennings, and he picked up about 3 through the 38, setting up 3rd and long. So the Giants having a tough time running the ball. They are next to last in the league, averaging 77.5 yards per game. Meanwhile, the Cowboy rush defense is the 2nd best in the league, allowing only 82.3. Shane Vereen now comes into the game, sees his first action since the 3rd week. Number 34 in the backfield with Manning on 3rd and 13. 3-man rush. Cowboys do that a lot with 8 covering, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Vereen. So the Giants pick up 1 first down, and now in comes the punting unit.
Yeah, one of the problems that you're going to have if you're going to try and beat the Cowboys on defense, you make those big mistakes early. They go soft. They end up coming back and just playing a zone defense, just a 3-man rush there. And it's frustrating for big-time playmakers like Odell Beckham.
Now Brad Wink to punt. Michelle talked about Lucky Whitehead not making the trip because he was late for a team meeting, and so you've got Beasley back there, and he lets it bound out of bounds at the 18-yard line. That's where Prescott and the Cowboys take over. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Volkswagen. By Bud Light, make the right call, drink responsibly. By Verizon, it's always a great gift on Verizon. And by GE, we imagine a better world and then make it real. Really nothing like Midtown Manhattan in the holiday season. Storefronts. A little bit of traffic down there these days, you might say.
Oh, yeah. Went over to see the tree last night, though. That was fun. Beautiful as always.
Over 30 Rock. So on this wintry night, Dak Prescott. And by now, if you follow football, you know the story. 4th rounder, 8th quarterback picked in the draft out of Mississippi State. Tony Romo gets hurt in preseason, and Prescott having a fantastic season, along with Ezekiel Elliott, the other rookie in the backfield. And we start with Elliott around the right side. The Giants were able to bottle him up in his debut back in September to the 21. He's 2nd down and 7, so Dak Prescott was the starter on opening day. Numbers are terrific. Look at that, 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had a long streak to start the season without a pick, and a long one in progress right now. 2nd down and 7. Giants moving and shifting on defense. And Prescott gets in a late word to his offensive front, takes the low snap and fires, and that one is caught by Jason Witten up to the 25. Witten had a 130-game streak snapped in their last game against Minnesota, so he starts a new one here.
And they are not going to let Dak Prescott just sit there. Everybody's in a gap, so that means nobody is blocking off the edge here. So Prescott read it hot, maybe something he wouldn't have known to do on opening day quite as well. But you can see the maturation already of Prescott. He's seen that blitz before, played it much better now than he did on opening day.
Funny, he didn't even target Witten in Minnesota, snapping that streak of 130 straight games with a reception. Now goes to him early here. 3rd and 3, gets off the spot, then throws incomplete, intended for Dez Bryant. And so that Giant defense gets the crowd electrified here early on with a rapid 3 and out.
They look like they are coming after Prescott tonight. Watch this, but then Elliott's going to come right in here and make a great block. If you're going to blitz, you have to get there. But when you've got a running back that can pick up the blitz like that, it makes it a little tougher.
Odell Beckham, he's only returned 4 punts this year. Dwayne Harris is their main guy. He's active tonight. He was banged up a little bit, but they opt for Beckham. And the left-footed Chris Jones will send it down to Odell, who calls for a fair catch and secures it at the 30-yard line. Giants with their 2nd possession when we come back to the Meadowlands. Lower Manhattan, and that's the One World Trade Center. We can tell you don't miss a moment of tonight's game with the NBC Sports app. Watch the game anywhere, live on your laptop, tablet, and connected TV. Back across the Hudson to East Rutherford. Giants have it at the 30-yard line, starting their 2nd drive. Play clock down to 5. Paul Perkins is the back. And they give it to the rookie. And he gets out to about the 32-yard line. And Sean Lee, who has stayed healthy all season long, has not missed a snap, makes the stop.
Yeah, here's Lee, but watch Jerry try and get to him and just can't. The speed of Lee comes into play so often. He just simply is hard to catch. It makes him a great coverage guy, but also very tough to get to in the run game.
Second down and 8. Good protection and sets it up for Perkins, but there is Sean Lee again, and you can see why he leads the team in tackles by a mile. He's just showed you on the last 2 plays. It'll be third down and 8.
And this is what they have to do defensively. Play their zones and then react up. You don't want to overcommit on those underneath routes that keep coming underneath there. Just use your speed, get up there and make the tackle, because the Giants very good in getting those dig and crossing routes in behind. But for Sean Lee, there's no question. He is the best player on this defense.
Third and 8. Vereen comes in on third down again, as he did on the first sequence. And Manning's going to get stuffed at the 23-yard line, and that's Tyrone Crawford who buries him for the sack. That's 4.5 sacks. He leads the team in sacks.
The unsung hero right here. Watch Malik Collins come there, and that's going to set up the sack for Crawford coming in. Collins basically sacrifices himself to take out Bobby Hart, and it led to the sack.
That's when you should get an assist, like in hockey.
Really.
Brad Wing, already his second punt, 6 minutes into the game. Low snap, low line drive kick. And the Cowboys will let it roll to a stop at the 32-yard line. Down goes Manning, and the Cowboys have the ball. Well, for the Giants, Jason Pierre-Paul on the sideline underwent sports hernia surgery earlier this week. It's possible he could come back if the Giants get into postseason. But for the moment, reduced to a spectator. The ball is at the 33-yard line as the Cowboys start this drive. Giants appearing to blitz from the right defensive side, and here they come. And Prescott moves away and then throws, and the pass is incomplete, intended for the rookie Elliott. Let's take a look at the Dallas offense.
Dak Prescott, Mississippi State.
Ezekiel Elliott, the Ohio State.
Darius Bryant, Oklahoma State.
Terrence Williams, Baylor.
Cole Beasley, SMU.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
Tyron Smith, USC.
Ronald Leary, University of Memphis.
Travis Frederick, Wisconsin.
Zach Martin, Notre Dame.
Doug Free, Northern Illinois.
So some of those Pro Football Focus numbers. There's Tony Romo, of course, who's reduced to the role of backup, and you can see how good that offensive line is when you look at the rankings here. And Elliott to the right side, and Elliott will get spun down up at the 35-yard line. Kelvin Shepard makes the tackle. Elliott, not only the first running back pick, but he was the number 4 overall pick. You normally don't see a guy go that high, but in this particular case out of Ohio State, and he has certainly done the job. He has a big lead for the rushing title, and he's in front of the former Cowboy, DeMarco Murray, having a good year with the Tennessee Titans, but this kid looks like he's going to win it running away.
But his worst day against the New York Giants, just 51 yards rushing in that opener.
In his rookie debut. Only game, of course, the Cowboys have lost this season by 1 point. Third and 8. Prescott, good protection, throws, and it's going to be caught, but a little short of the first down. Terrence Williams, as the official comes in to mark it, they have to get to the 38th, and they're going to take a longer look at this. This is going to be very, very close, obviously.
And he has 3 sacks on the year, 5 interceptions. Watch him react up here to make the play. Looked like it was a for sure first down, and he comes up just quickly enough, I thought, to hold him just short of that first down marker, but we'll see.
This will be close because Carl Jeffers will bring it out, and I'll tell you, if they get a first down, I wouldn't be surprised if it's challenged, but it's short, and that's the right call because, as you can see on the replay, he did not get to what they call the line to gain.
but we shall see.
We shall. It's 4th down and inches. So for the moment, Garrett's going to leave his group out there.
They've got 6 offensive linemen in the game. Joe Looney comes in, and 2 tight ends.
You think just to draw them offside, but when you've got the leading rusher in the league in that line, maybe you do go for it. And they will. And Elliott finds that crease and picks up the first down. He looks like a 4th, 5th year running back on that play. He was going to run into a wall, gets to the right side, picks up the first down.
Al, you stole my thought exactly. On opening day, he would not have made that move on 4th and 1. Watch this lateral jump cut. The patience to trust that that is going to work for him. On opening day, he would have just flown up there, put his head down, and tried to push. He has really grown throughout the year.
You see, I do listen to you.
I listen to you now. That's the problem.
Under 7 to play in the opening quarter. Cowboys 7 for 7 on 4th and 1. Now Elliott to the right side, and he with a flag down. For the moment, it would be an 8-yard gain. Flag coming in from the secondary.
Man, I tell you, it is a joy to watch this offensive line work.
They started building it when Garrett took over as the head coach in 2011. His first full year. Here's Jeffers.
Holding, number 95 defense. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
That is Jonathan Hankins. You know, you go back to that offensive line, Chris, and that's what the Cowboys needed to do. They rebuilt it beginning in 2011 and started with Tyron Smith.
Yeah, and, you know, let's not forget for a minute that maybe one of the biggest moves of this whole rebirth of the Dallas Cowboys is when they did not draft Johnny Manziel and took Zach Martin instead.
I'll say.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this is a dominant offensive line.
Ball at the 42-yard line. Play action. Buys time. Then Elliott just drops it on the outside. It was open. Wouldn't have gained very much anyway. Jonathan Casillas, the linebacker, covering. 2nd down and 10.
You know, Elliott, despite that drop, is a pretty good receiver coming out of the backfield. Now, he is not the kind of Shane Vereen type of receiver. He's not that lightning quick route runner, but he is very functional. And what the Giants would love to do tonight is have about 20 checkdowns to Ezekiel Elliott, rally up, make the tackle, and keep everything else in front of him.
That was Elliott's first drop of the year. Now to the right side, and away he goes for a gain of about 9. Ezekiel Elliott setting up a 3rd down and 1.
Tell you, Doug Free sometimes not the greatest pass blocker in the world, but watch this guy and watch this guy get out on the edge. That's where Jason Pierre-Paul would have been out there, and instead they're going right after that position. But this offensive line, boy, they don't miss many blocks, and Landon Collins that time got the short end of the stick from Doug Free.
Romeo Okwara, the rookie out of Notre Dame, taking the spot of JPP. 3rd down, short 2, and plowing straight ahead and getting that first down on a 3-yard pickup is Elliott. So he's already carried the ball 6 times for 27 yards. Zeke and the guys up front. 1285, the leader. As I mentioned before, the leader by a lot. And that's amazing. 23 times he's carried the ball. He hasn't even been touched until he was 10 yards or more past the line of scrimmage, and of course those guys are no strangers to the Pro Bowl. First down to the 31. Good protection. Airs it out downfield into traffic, and it's incomplete. Bryce Butler was the intended receiver. Ball kind of hung up. Eli Apple, the rookie out of Ohio State who played in Columbus with Elliott covering on the play.
Well, Butler has a chance for this one, but he's going against a really terrific young rookie in Eli Apple. Ever since that Apple got healthy about halfway through the season, now they have 2 corners on the outside that like to play a little bit of that bump and run, get in the face of these receivers. And here's the matchup on the outside. Tyron Smith having no problem with Olivier Vernon. And he is the best the Giants can offer as far as a pass rusher in this one.
Little fake toss. And then Prescott wide open. Terrence Williams touchdown. What a great fake. Williams free by 15 yards, 31 yards, and that drives 67 yards to put the Cowboys on top.
The fake fooled everybody, including the young safety in the middle, Andrew Adams. As soon as that fake went, everybody took a step that way, and the speedster Terrence Williams went across the field with nobody around. Beautifully designed play there by Scott Linehan. You know, Dak Prescott really does that well, doesn't he? I mean, my eyes were following that fake as well.
Fake with one hand, kept it with the other hand. He had Maley, the fullback, who was free underneath as well. Beautiful design, beautiful execution. Bailey for the extra point. And the Dallas Cowboys with 4:44 remaining in the opening quarter at the Meadowlands take the lead over the Giants, 7-0. Fallon, always a great array of guests, and coming on this week, well, you've got the Governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, among others. One of my favorites, Reese Witherspoon, all guesting tonight or tomorrow or all week on the Tonight Show with Jimmy. There's Sean Lee, a couple of tackles the last time the Cowboy D was out there. 7-0 is the score. And Bailey with a short kick from the 9-yard line. This one will run back up the middle to the 30-yard line. Bobby Rainey takes it to that spot.
Let's talk about some of these young rookies and what they're doing. On 4th down, it was Ezekiel Elliott with this jump cut around to pick up the first down to keep that drive alive. Now watch the fake on this next one by Dak Prescott. Just hold it. Yeah, the whole defense moved as he just did that fake and stood there and looked like he'd already pitched it. And then Terrence Williams all the way across the formation. Had to feel good for him as well. He's the one that didn't step out of bounds, and the opener may have cost him a chance for a field goal at the end of that one.
Right, couldn't get out of bounds, clock ran out. Otherwise, it might have had time for maybe one play, or at worst, a 60-some-odd field goal attempt by Dan Bailey, who is capable of doing that. But that's history as Manning throws on 1st down. And that's out to the 35-yard line. Gerald Adams, the rookie tight end out of South Carolina, picks up about 6.
Yeah, and for the Giants, they've had a bit of a changeover now at the tight end position. Larry Donnell was the guy they really thought was going to be their go-to big-time athlete, red zone, but he's sort of been benched here lately over the past 5 games. Only 1 snap in the last 5, and Adams and Will Tye in there now.
Yeah, and that snap on that play was an interception in Pittsburgh last week. 2nd down and 4. Jennings resets off to Manning's left. Play action, set up that screen, and the catch is made there by Sterling Shepard, rookie out of Oklahoma, with Byron Jones, 2nd-year guy out of Connecticut, taking him out of bounds.
Some of the athleticism out here. You're going to get Will Tye out here to make that opening block. He can fly. He's under a 4-5 kind of guy, so they like that athleticism, not just as a receiver, but as a blocker too.
Off the fake, Manning, good clean pocket, and that's the first catch of the night, and the 76th of the season for Odell Beckham, who needs a little time before he can get back up.
Great job by Eli Manning, recognizing the first time all night Odell Beckham's had man-to-man coverage, goes right to it, calls the audible at the line of scrimmage, comes out and finds his guy. If you're going to play one-on-one, you're going to see Odell Beckham.
Beckham splits wide to the right. There's Brandon Carr on him at the bottom of your screen. Fake, another fake, and then a screen, and that's Jennings. Good looking play. That's about 7 or 8 yards. 2nd down and short.
Well, one thing the Dallas Cowboys love to do on defense is fly to the ball. So what do you do to counter that on offense? You want to get out there and run some misdirection. That way, time multiple misdirection there, and then come back with the screen off of it.
Rod Marinelli head coach at Detroit for 3 years. His niche is really as a defensive coordinator, doing a good job, especially with this group. And then, well, almost on cue, you've got Sean Lee right there, running right into Rashad Jennings for a loss, setting up a 3rd down and 4.
This is a play that the Giants beat them badly on in the opener. You're going to end up with guys coming down here and then Newhouse coming around. Sean Lee, though, too quick to the punch here, comes up and gets inside of Newhouse. Said, I've seen that one before. Take that.
3rd and 3. A minute and a half left in the quarter. Cowboys send 3. Manning going deep for Beckham, and he drops it inside the 5-yard line. Brandon Carr with the coverage, but the ball right in his hands and couldn't hang on 4th down.
Can't explain it. On coverage on the outside against Carr. Had clean hands, had nothing going wrong. Let's see, kind of grabbed his shoulder a little bit, but Rodell Beckham, that's one he makes in his sleep.
Makes a lot harder ones in his sleep, as we know from a couple of years ago. The Giants line up to go for it on 4th down and 3, and indeed they will. And the pass is caught by Beckham, and he picks up the 1st down. And takes a real pop there at the end of the play. That was Justin Durant coming in at the end, but the Giants pick up a 1st down.
Jason Garrett not happy a little bit. He thought he got a push off down here. Let's take a look. Pretty good little push on the tail end of it. 4th down, you take a shot. Why not?
Beckham very upset about the officiating last week in Pittsburgh. A little verbal abuse of the officials. That was a fine. He's already been fined 5 times this year for over $100,000. Empty backfield from the 24, final minute of the quarter. And Manning with the ball coming forward. That was Cedric Thornton who got in his face. And Cedric Thornton with the turnover. The takeaway here is Thornton comes flying in, and the Dallas Cowboys come away with the ball. Fumble by Manning. He saw Lee in his face. Thornton comes up with it. Interceptions and fumbles lost, and so 4. Eli with that 256 total. Now Dallas from the 32. And they run that play fake again, and this time Witten is wide open. Witten slips a tackle, and the venerable one takes it to the 45-yard line for a gain of 13 and a Dallas 1st down. Back to the fumble.
Yeah, and Eli Manning's going to be sick about this one because the ball just slips out of his hands. And worse than that, Roger Lewis was wide open down the field. The Cowboys blow a coverage, wide open. It's going to be a walk-in touchdown. So Beckham drops one, and Eli drops one, and it kills the drive.
And the quarter expires before they can get the snap off. They'll start from their own 45. And the 7-0 Dallas Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages.
Battle tonight, a winner take all, ain't nothing like Sunday Night Football.
Tonight's aerial coverage being brought to you by Geico, one of the great sites in the world. Manhattan, from high above the Hudson River. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoya start the 2nd quarter. Dallas with a 1st and 10 at the 45. We'll start here with an Elliott run of 4 yards. You know, the thing about the NFL, it's a week-to-week league. You don't know what's going to happen. Certainly, it's a year-to-year. I mean, last year, everything that could have gone wrong for the Cowboys went wrong. This year, everything has gone right. Everything.
Yeah, you know, and last year, of course, without Tony Romo, they couldn't win a game, right? Now, Tony Romo can't get back in the huddle because they can't lose a game out there with Dak Prescott. Who would have figured that all this, the division is so upside down for what you might have figured, right? Eli Manning, the veteran quarterback, he's going to run away with it. A couple of rookies, and here they go.
And here's Elliott. You know, when you think about these 2 rookies, I mean, who wins Rookie of the Year? Take your pick. But these guys are also in the MVP race.
The only thing that may happen to them is they may cancel each other out because it's hard to split it to decide which ones had the bigger impact. But here they are again, 3rd and 2. And for 90% of the offenses in the league, this is a definite passing down. For the Dallas Cowboys, time after time, they get in a run formation and convert. That's really the difference with this team.
3rd and short, they bring Lance Dunbar in the backfield. Dunbar stays in the block, and the pass is picked off at the 39-yard line. Intercepted by Janoris Jenkins. Only the 3rd interception in 13 games for Prescott.
Des Bryant basically just slips and falls here, and it leaves it wide open for Jenkins to come back in. The most competitive guy, they say, on the defense of the Giants, taking on the big dog for the Dallas Cowboys. And Jenkins wins. One of those high-priced free agents, and all of them have paid off. What a great play.
He's thrown 172 straight passes without an interception. And the turnover here coming on a 3rd down and 2, and it gives the Giants the ball at their own 39. Jenkins, free agent, coming over from the Rams in the offseason. So the Giants come up now with Perkins, the rookie out of UCLA, 5th-round draft choice, as the running back. Eli has a couple of words for him. Play clock at 1. And they give it to the rookie. And he gets smothered at the 41. Go back to the beginning of the season. Prescott did not throw an interception until well into the season. Games 1 through 6, 176. Then he threw 2 within 19 passes in the middle of the year. And then 172 before that last pick.
And here's a guy in Dak Prescott that actually plays better when people blitz him.
Numbers bear that out. Ty now sets up in the right slot on 2nd down and 7. And Eli looks for Beckham. Beckham looks for a flag, and here it comes. Flag thrown. Anthony Hitchens put the pressure on. You've got 2 flags here.
Number 58 defense, 59 defense.
So that's the flag on Hitchens. And you got another one as well.
They are bringing the heat off the slot and the inside backer.
I think he called it on 58, but you take a look at the replay, it'll be
clearly 59.
Yeah, it's got to be Hitchens.
Yeah. Came from his inside linebacker position as they brought the slot as well and really freed up Hitchens.
There are 2 fouls by the defense on the play. Pass interference, number 39. That penalty's declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 59 defense. That penalty's accepted. 15 yards, automatic, 1st down.
Let's take a look right there. Coming right around. Had Eli in his sights, and Eli bailed out of there, but also had the slot corner going. There's the interference, the grab on the outside by Carr.
Giants now at the 43 of Dallas. Inside handoff. Perkins looks to get outside and is swarmed by a bunch of white shirts. Terrell McLean, the tackle, 97, among those in on the stop. 2nd down and long.
That's a nice looking play that time by McLean off the nose tackle position to catch that bounce out. A little surprised to see the Giants doing this much no huddle. McAdoo telling us you have to earn your way to the no huddle, and they really haven't done anything to earn it yet.
2nd down and 10. And another thing with the false start here.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And Chris, the other thing is Dallas leads the league in time of possession. The Giants are near the bottom. So the Giants, they wanted to control the clock a little bit here. You're not going to do that with no huddle.
Well, and the other thing is the Cowboys don't blitz very much, but when they do blitz, they're very effective. Eli Manning doesn't see a lot of blitzing because he gets rid of the ball so quickly, but it has a big impact on him when teams do that. So I think the Cowboys are opting to flash it a little bit, and so far it's working out.
2nd and 15. Cowboys moving around on that defensive front. Rush 4, and that pass is a little high and incomplete, intended for Victor Cruz. Kind of been lost in the offensive game plans of late, and he and Ben McAdoo had a little chit-chat this week.
Yeah, Victor wasn't too happy about the fact that he wasn't targeted in the last one, and so they found a common ground, as they said. Probably wishes he had found a common ground with Eli on that pass. That was a miss.
Cruz has only one touchdown reception all year, and that came in the opener and wound up as the game-winning score in Dallas. Manning is chased out and then finds the open man, and that is Vereen. But he can only get to the 38, so they are about 5 yards shy of the first down. Lawrence put the heat on, and it will be 4th down.
Troubles right out here with Eric Flowers. Watch how low his hands are against DeMarcus Lawrence. He has to be much more, think of a boxer almost, you know, where your hands are up where you can react quickly, and that flushed out Eli. But really a nice play here on the tail end by Vereen to almost get him in field goal range.
Well, it's 4th down, and they opt to punt. So Brad Wing, this will be his 3rd kick of the first half. Puts a lot of backspin on it, and the Giants are going to be able to stop it inside the 5-yard line. That's Dwayne Harris who got down there to pin Dallas D. 7-0 Cowboys.
Rookie quarterback on the left, veteran quarterback on the right. Which one under pressure performs better? Well, that's easy, right? Not so much. Eli Manning, since last year, has the lowest rating among all NFL passing qualifiers, and the young buck, Dak Prescott, no problem at all. Of course, that offensive line helps him a little bit, but it points to the poise of Dak Prescott.
And here goes Elliott around the outside, and that gives them a lot of breathing room as they start at their own 3. Keith Smith, the fullback, in on that set, helped to lead the way. Gain of 15, 1st down, Cowboys.
Romeo Okwara here is going to be the one in place of Jason Pierre-Paul, just having a tough time getting off the block of Doug Free. Doug Free's a big man, and you want to criticize his game, maybe quickness and a speed rusher, but as far as making those kind of blocks, pretty darn good.
Doug Free, the veteran along that front, 10th year. Elliott, and he gets upended at the 21-yard line, taken down by Leon Hall.
Yeah, you remember that touchdown to the Cowboys where the young safety Andrew Adams got caught up a little bit? He's on the bench now.
Yep, and that's why Hall's in the game.
Yeah.
Opt for the 9th-year veteran over the rookie.
Leon Hall has been a cornerback, one of the top slot cornerbacks in football for a long time. Now filling in at safety, just that veteran presence back there with the very good Landon Collins.
2nd down and 6. Now Alfred Morris, the former Redskin, the backup to Elliott, is the running back here. Play action. Pocket breaks down, and there's the sack at the 16-yard line. Okwara, the rookie from Notre Dame, taking the JPP role up front, gets the sack.
Good coverage down the field, but now the extra offensive lineman in here, and Romeo Okwara taking over for JPP. Looked a little like JPP on that one. Comes around and makes the sack, and that was a big one, and this crowd now gets into it.
3rd down and 12. Lance Dunbar comes in for the Cowboys. There's JPP on the sideline. Play clock at 2 as Prescott has to clap his hands. They just do get it off and set up a bad-looking screen, and the receiver fell down. Dunbar, dangerous pass, 4th down. So the Giants let him out of a little bit of a hole at the 3-yard line, but then stop him at the 17.
Man, that was close. Keenan Robinson almost had that one. Maybe Dak Prescott saw it, but he ran right underneath it. He comes out. Watch 57. I thought that one was going the other way for a minute.
Most likely to tie the game as Jones sends this one into the night sky. 39-yard line. Beckham down the sideline. Decent run back out to almost midfield. 8.5 to go in the half. 7-0 Cowboys. The crew that never sleeps will be in Seattle for Thursday Night Football. Week 15 starts there at CenturyLink Field. Los Angeles Rams against the Seattle Seahawks. anything can happen on Thursday, and hopefully it will this Thursday.
And if it does, we're going to be there to see it.
Yes, we will. Rams Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. From the 50-yard line, the Giants' best starting field position. And Manning fires over the middle to tie. And he gets hog-tied at the 44. We go to Michelle.
Well, running back Shane Vereen, who was back for the first time since week 3 because of a tricep injury. Look at this. This happened on the last offensive possession of the Giants. Hits the turf hard. He is out with a concussion, Al.
So the Giants so excited to have him back, and could have been a difference maker. Now being evaluated. Jennings now to the outside, so he'll have to reassume his lead role, taking the ball to the 38, and that's a New York first down.
One of the interesting things about Ben McAdoo and the New York Giants, because of some injuries along the way, they basically stay in what's called 11 personnel. For lack of a better term, it's 3 wide receivers. Now they have 3 excellent receivers, but sometimes in that short yardage situations where they haven't been very good, creates a short edge, and it gets a little tougher to do it.
Another way to put the 11 personnel is 1 running back, 1 tight end. I learned that from you many years ago. Look out, sack at the 46-yard line. The ball comes out as well. So Manning went down, got sacked, lost it, and another Dallas recovery. Mayowa, Benson Mayowa, number 93, forced it, and Sean Lee recovers it. Second time it's happened to Manning. So we'll show you in a minute, but Flowers got beat badly. The left tackle. You have the fumble. You have the second turnover by the Giants. And now it's Dallas starting from the 49-yard line. We begin with Elliott, who escapes a would-be tackle in the backfield, picks up 2, back to the sack, fumble we go.
Well, great play by Benson Mayowa, and I don't want to lessen that, but I want you to watch this. He will have, here he is there, his shoulder pads will face that way by the time he makes first contact with Mayowa, and basically all he does is push him into Eli Manning. I mean, you just cannot play that way. You're not supposed to even turn sideways at all, and he turned completely around by the time he makes first contact.
Flowers, the Giants' #1 pick, 9th overall last year. Second down and 8. Now you got action on the defensive front. Flag comes down. It's Vernon who came across the line. It'll be offside, so that'll cost the Giants 5.
Number 54 defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Vernon, the high-priced free agent coming over in the offseason from the Dolphins.
You know, it's really interesting what the Giants are trying to do. They're trying to leave somebody inside Tyron Smith so that their best pass rusher, Olivier Vernon, is going to be free of having to deal with Smith. They've done that several times. He jumps offside, obviously, there. But that looks like the strategy to try and keep him away from Tyron Smith.
And now it's Elliott through the middle. Goes right through that narrow crease and gets to the 30-yard line for a first down on a gain of 13.
Oh, and Zach Martin takes care of business up front like he does here and drives them out. This read option is just going to have all kinds of opportunities. See Jason Witten come across. Dak Prescott basically says, Okwara, I know exactly what you're going to do. And boy, it's magical with the blocking up front and that ball handling in the back end. Whew, tough.
And again, they give the ball this time to Elliott, but for one of the rare times this season, he is tackled for a loss. It'll be second down and 11.
Very aggressive called game so far by Steve Spagnuolo. He knows he has a problem. He knows without Jason Pierre-Paul, he's just not going to be able to get pressure the ordinary way. So he has been very creative with what he's been doing so far to try and free up the best of his remaining pass rushers.
Much better Giant defense this year than last, and they were near the bottom of the league in almost every category. Second and 11. Prescott throws a little too high, pass incomplete, intended for Terrence Williams, who has scored the game's only touchdown. It'll be third and 11.
Yeah, and you can say anything you want about the Giants on defense. They're hanging in here pretty tough. The issue, as it's been all year, Al, is what's happening with the Giants offense, and that's where the money is.
Yeah, that defense holding Dallas to 4.7 yards per play. You do that over the long haul, you're going to win a lot of games. But right now they trail. It's 3rd down and 11. And Prescott backing up and gets sacked at the 41, and that ball comes out, and it is Kennard who sacked him, and then
I don't think that run's going to count.
To the 30-yard line.
It's a great job on the back end of that thing by Doug Free. They were knocked out of field goal range, but I think they're going to give him credit for that fumble recovery in advance.
At least for the
moment. On the field as the recovering player was not down by contact. He got up and advanced the ball. It'll be 4th down. To the 31-yard line, and that's going to allow Bailey to attempt a field goal instead of a punt. So here's Free. The foot is on him. Yeah. So now the ruling on the field is one thing, but here comes the challenge flag from McAdoo, and he's going to win this challenge. Any kind of contact when the guy is down on the ground, as Free was, and they'll challenge this, and I am 99 the Giants
and 44.
Are challenging the ruling on the field that the recovering player was not down by contact. We'll review the play.
I'm Ivory Soap, 99 and 44, 100% certain. The Giants win the challenge.
Foot.
Yep.
After review, the recovering player was down by contact at the 40-yard line. It will be Dallas ball at that spot, 4th down.
So instead of being in field goal range, you can see one foot contact there, the other foot as well. So McAdoo wins the challenge, and Dallas, instead of a field goal attempt, now brings in the punt team. And that's Beckham standing back at his own 8-yard line. Chris Jones has punted twice tonight, 45-yard average. And Beckham makes a fair catch at the 11-yard line with 3:51 to the half.
Well, Eric Flowers is going to have to pick up the pace a bit here if the Giants are going to mount a comeback. You see the hands so low, he just is not making contact. You always see good offensive linemen stab like that, but look at the angle of his back. He just gets too much weight forward underneath the face mask, and then here it gets completely turned around and basically pushes the rusher in Eli Manning. He's a good athlete. He had a sprained ankle all of last year. I thought it was kind of an overstated. He wasn't doing well, but just pure technique-wise of the pass blocking, he has to get better.
Giants begin from the 10-yard line. And decent-sized hole there for Perkins, the rookie. Gain of 5.
Well, the last couple of years, here's Pro Football Focus's numbers, and nobody has given up more of these disruptions between sacks, hits, and hurries than Eric Flowers. And that left tackle position may be too much for him. He may be more of a right tackle.
So Manning now, he will throw, and it is Lewis who can't make the catch inbounds. Roger Lewis, the free agent rookie from Bowling Green, making it 3rd down and 5.
And what happens to a quarterback like Eli Manning? Here he is trying to go hurry up.
And he does on 3rd and 5 and going deep downfield into double coverage, and it is almost intercepted. Intended for Beckham. Barry Church, who has 2 of Dallas's 4 picks this year, breaking it up 4th down.
I don't know what Eli's doing on that one. They're trying to hurry everything up, and they're getting these guys off the field, and so I think Eli thought this was going to be a free play, but it wasn't. And he threw right into a 2-deep coverage, and for Barry Church, that really should have been his.
Beckham winds up playing the role of defensive back to make sure it wasn't an interception. Brad Wing now, 4th punt of the game with a former Pittsburgh Steeler, native of Australia. Fielded at the 43. Here comes a flag. Cole Beasley down the sideline, and Beasley with a very good run back to the 28-yard line. But as we stated, a flag down at the beginning of the run back. And you can almost count on that being 99 and 44 100% against the return team.
We're back to Ivory Soap.
Right, why not?
Like Byron Jones may have held a bit as one of the blockers on the outside.
During the kick, holding, number 31, receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
2:56 to halftime, 7-0 Cowboys. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Walmart, find gifts, groceries, and more this season. By Subway, try the new Reuben stacked with corned beef. And by U.S. Bank. There are the Cowboys. You saw Tony Romo, Jason Witten making their annual visit to 4 different children's hospitals in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Gene Jones, wife of Jerry, and there's Jerry, Stephen Jones looking on, and boy, have they had some run this season. We start now with Elliott around the left side, and he gets forced out of bounds by Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie up at the 46-yard line. First down.
You know, Stephen Jones' son is playing for the state championship of Texas as the quarterback, and he has had some run. They're playing next Saturday at noon, so there's going to be a little change of focus for at least one weekend.
5A Dallas High, or the Texas High School Championship from the 47-yard line after that gain of 14. And this is Elliott. Well, you had Romo. Prescott will be here for a while, you would think, and then maybe you get the Jones boy.
Yeah, you never know. Well, one thing they do have in New York are great snacks. There you go. Damon Harrison inside, and what a difference he's made. If he's not the best nose tackle, defensive tackle against the run, I'm not sure who is. A high-price free agent, but boy, has he delivered on his promises.
You know, all he had to do was change locker rooms. Came from the Jets. 2-minute warning at the Meadowlands. Coming up to halftime, the Packers win again. They rout Seattle 3 in a row for Green Bay. We'll have the best sound of the day. And Bob is here to take a look ahead at our Thursday night matchup, Rams-Seahawks. Right now the Seahawks dropping out of the 2 spot, going to 3 after losing today to Green Bay. And the pass here is incomplete, intended for Cole Beasley. Rodgers-Cromartie covering on the play. Beasley's their leading receiver, but tonight nothing. They've only completed 4 passes at the Cowboys.
I'm going to tell you, the Giants can play some defense. Across the board, they have 3 excellent cornerbacks. Janoris Jenkins with the interception. Eli Apple, we've talked about him, and Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie in the slot. Anytime you're at this point in the game and Dez Bryant and Cole Beasley don't have a catch, you know you're facing a pretty good set of corners.
Well, Prescott is 4 of 12. Only 55 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. Pressure again, the throws, and then getting buried at the 46-yard line is Dunbar. Romeo Okwara making his presence felt tonight, and it's 4th down.
This is one of those zone blitzes, so everybody comes. So what do you have to do? Everybody comes, you got to cover it up somewhere. So you're going to drop your defensive end off. There's Romeo Okwara coming up to make the big hit and set up a 4th down. Nicely done. But they have been pretty relentless with the pressure tonight on Dak Prescott. His worst rating of the year was against the Giants in Week 1, and not a whole lot better tonight against Steve Spagnuolo's bunch.
The Spagnuolo bunch, they're 19th overall defensively, but 9th in points per game.
Game clock to 138. 138, please.
Stop the clock here, and the Giants took a timeout. They're going to get the ball back right now. 138 on the clock after the Chris Jones upcoming punt.
It's going to be interesting here if the Cowboys can get off a good punt and pin them back the way the Giants offense has been going. You might see Jason Garrett and the Cowboys calling a few timeouts, try and get it back on a short field around midfield if they can stop them on 1st or 2nd down. Still plenty of time for this thing to go either way.
Agreed. And meanwhile, the Giants offense, they've run 26 plays for 75 yards. Not even averaging 3 yards per play. And Jones is a short kick, and Beckham calls for the fair catch and makes it up at the 14-yard line. So the Giants 2 timeouts in a minute and a half. Well, the night you love to hate. It's Wednesday night rivalry, NBCSN. Good one this week. It's the Boston Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wednesday night rivalry beginning at 6:30 Eastern on NBCSN. That means, of course, we'll see Sidney Crosby in action. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, home of the Giants and the Jets, who went out west and beat San Francisco today in overtime. From the 14.
Six defensive backs in the game now for the Cowboys.
And they actually blitzed in the corner, and it's dropped up at the 23-yard line. Victor Cruz couldn't handle it. Anthony Brown covering on the play, and Skandrick was blitzing. 2nd down and 10.
Well, and now you've got it all working. If the Cowboys could make one more play here with that stoppage of the clock, it really shifts to their favor.
2nd and 10. This time, and that's caught at the 19 by Bobby Rainey, but he's going to be stopped. Well, the ball comes out, but he was down. Play is over. Dead right there. But it's going to be 3rd down, and the clock continues to run. Cowboys, they're looking over to the bench to see whether they want Garrett to call a timeout.
Yeah, I wonder how quickly Eli wants to call this play. You may want to milk this clock just a bit here.
Right. 3rd and 6, and that's what he's doing. And it's on the ground, and that's going to be stopped short of the 1st down. Now the Cowboys can take their timeout, or should. Lee makes the stop. 30-second commercial. Back after that. And we're back on 4th down after the Dallas timeout. Brad Wing, 5th punt of the half.
Boy, Beasley's got room.
From the 30. Trying to get some blocking, but that's a nice play there. Dwayne Harris, special teamer, fights through the traffic with 32 seconds remaining in the half. You can vote for the Pro Bowl. Your vote counts. 2017 Pro Bowl. Voting will end on Tuesday night.
Who would you guess are 1-2 in the voting right now?
I think I know.
You're watching them. Yeah. I'll tell you that.
A holding penalty on the return will back them up, but these 2 guys have not only electrified the Cowboy fan base, but a lot of people around the country, Prescott and Elliott. But tonight, Cowboys, 4 punts, an interception, and that 1 touchdown when Williams got free by a mile. From the 21. Prescott, look out. Pressure. He throws, and that'll be caught. And that is Beasley, who finally gets on the board. That is his first reception of the night, having a career year, and his 61st. He leads the team on the season.
Of course, the battle of the night. Olivier Vernon working against Tyron Smith on the outside, and 2 great players, and Tyron Smith just relentless with his pass protection. It's one of the reasons Prescott.
2nd and 3. And Prescott fires, caught, 39-yard line. Beasley scrambles to the 41. And Aguara came in and knocked Prescott down. Another 30-second timeout. Guy's doing a nice job tonight, playing in place of the injured JPP, Romeo Aguara. Knocked Prescott down on that last play. Dallas has 1 timeout, 16 seconds, and a 1st down here. Trying to get into field goal range. And that's Dunbar is going to get spun out of bounds at the 45-yard line now with 11 seconds. So time for 1 more play and a timeout. We go to Michelle.
Well, I talked to Dan Bailey before the game. He felt his range in either direction was 53 yards, but he said in the pregame, kicking in this direction from left to right on your screen, he might get an extra yard or 2 out of it. Al?
All right. Michelle is looking at the flags on the top of the goalpost. They're pretty still right now.
So we need about 20 yards here, and the best way to get that, typically some kind of a crossing route, but it takes great protection by the offensive line to get those in there.
And Prescott's going to fire. That's going to be caught at the 40-yard line. Now you've got Williams to the 37. He was looking for the boundary, remembering opening day, but they do have a timeout, so they can stop the clock here and give Bailey an opportunity to tack on 3 more.
I can't tell you how good this offensive line is. That was heavy pressure. They held up beautifully and allowed them to get the crossing route in. This takes a long time, and it's the reason Spagnuolo brought all this pressure inside here, knowing exactly what I was thinking. There's the little dig route on the outside and sets up a chance here for a field goal. Great job by this offensive line. Look at that.
Gain of 18, so let's see if, as Michelle just reported, Bailey said maybe he can get a yard or 2 extra going in this direction. This is a 55-yard attempt, and the Giants take a timeout.
Timeout, Giants.
Cowboys will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
You just don't get that much time to throw the ball when the other team sends 6 on a blitz. And wait and wait and wait for that receiver to get 20 yards down the field and give your kicker a chance. That was fantastic.
Bailey had 2 of 50-plus in the opener against the Giants. Of course, that was under slightly different conditions. And in case it's a little bit short, you got Jenkins back deep for a potential run back.
And a lot of offensive linemen to cover.
55 yards away, and it hits the goalpost. Hits the crossbar. Well, I guess he had 1 more yard, not 2, from that 53. And that is the end of the first half. Whew, that close.
Wow.
So the score is 7-0. Coming up next, it'll be the Toyota halftime. But first, here are today's top performances, presented by Microsoft.
By Chevrolet.
Sunday night. Stand up and cheer, stomp your feet, stop clapping. NBC Sunday night about to happen.
Little fake toss. Wide open. Terrence Williams, touchdown.
Beautifully designed play.
And the pass is picked off at the 39-yard line by Janoris Jenkins. A look out, sack. The ball comes out. Second time it's happened to Manning.
Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 2 years in a row. Car company 2 years in a row.
Halftime score here at the Meadowlands across the Hudson from Manhattan is 7-0 Dallas. That touchdown pass, the only score of the game. Dak Prescott 11 straight games now with a TD pass, second longest streak by a rookie quarterback. Only one longer was Peyton Manning as a rookie, and his brother Eli tonight 10 of 16 for 80 yards, been sacked 3 times, lost a couple of fumbles, and the league's leading rusher Zeke Elliott with 86 yards on 15 carries. Beckham, meanwhile, just 2 catches for 26 and a dropped pass.
Yeah, really the difference in the first half, right? The Beckham drop and the Eli Manning drop on the time in the pocket where he had the receiver wide open down the field.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys will get the ball. Lance Dunbar back deep. Again, if you missed it earlier, Lucky Whitehead, who's their #1 returner, not on the trip, late for a team meeting yesterday, so he has been benched. Touchback starts the second half here, and we start with Michelle.
Well, Dak Prescott, Al, had 101 passing yards on 9 completions in the first half. Jason Garrett told me at halftime they missed a few easy targets, but he believes the key for his offense here in the second half is to stay patient in the run game. As for Ben McAdoo, he acknowledged left tackle Eric Flowers does need some help protecting Eli Manning. He said they're going to look for ways to do that, as well as just getting back to fundamentals up there, Al.
Yeah, that's the case, Michelle, no question, as McAdoo goes over his play card. Doesn't need to call anything yet because his defense is on the field. You got Elliott as the running back. And they begin with the league's leading rusher, who fights his way for a gain of 3.
Well, anytime you go on to kind of run the Cowboys have been on, it takes unselfish play. And here's Jason Witten, who did not have a catch, killing a 130-game streak a week ago. So what is he willing to do? He comes out and he just blocks his tail off the entire first half out there and really made a difference. Caught a couple of balls, but nothing overly significant. You talked to Jason Witten, he said, hey, everybody had to buy into whatever their role was. I'm bought in. Everybody has, and you can see it in their play out there.
Jason Witten doing it for 14 seasons. Sets up in the slot to the left on a 2nd down and 7. Play action. Good time. The throw and the pass is incomplete. You had Witten there. You had Bryant in the neighborhood and a couple of Giants as well. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, he kind of threw that one in between everybody, trying to hit it in that soft part of the zone right up here between the safety and the cornerback. And I don't think that Dez ever quite picked up on the fact that the ball was coming to him.
Now Dunbar comes in. Bryant has not caught a pass tonight, been targeted a couple of times. 3rd and 7. And Prescott throws and passes incomplete, and that's on Landon Collins. Came flying in on the safety blitz.
Well, I tell you, they keep bringing the pressure, and it's making a difference. Here he comes right off the slot, and you can see Jason Witten saying, here he comes. And for Dak Prescott, they are not going to let him sit back there and comfortably read it. Did you see Prescott after that play was overlooked around and said, who was that hit me? 21.
Got the number of that truck, anybody? Chris Jones. 24, that's Beckham. And he escapes, and a flag comes in as for the moment he takes the ball back to the 29-yard line.
Sometimes I wonder if they're better off just fair catching every punt and not coming out of the end zone on kickoffs.
It just seems like, what, more than half the punt returns always generate a flag on the return team. Here's Jeffers.
Return, illegal block in the back. Number 93, return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
That is B.J. Goodson. So the Giants have it with Dallas up 7-0. It's a very ugly table if you're a New York Giants fan. 7 possessions, 5 punts, pair of fumbles.
And here's the difference in the game right here. Odell Beckham with a drop that probably would have been a touchdown, and then Eli Manning with one that slips out of his hands when Roger Lewis is just wide open down the field. Would have been a walk-in touchdown. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott hit their one opportunity, and the Giants have blown their 2.
That's the difference in the game as the Giants try to get something generated from the 19-yard line. Tony Romo over on the Cowboy bench. The Giants have Rashad Jennings as the running back. Remember, Vereen went out with the concussion protocol earlier. And Manning on the run throws it right into the arms of Church, and then he drops it. He's going to say that he had possession before he went out of bounds, but he lost it. And the official's right there to say it is incomplete. Here it is.
Eli never saw Barry Church for a minute, and even if he did see him, he was going to the ground, no question. Have to maintain control. Clearly did not.
Well, Garrett looks like he's ready to throw the flag. He had it in his hand. He was ready to toss it. And then clearly he got word from upstairs that you're not going to win this in all likelihood. But Garrett was right there on the sideline, had the flag in his hand until the very last moment.
I mean, clearly he's going to get 2 feet down. That's not the question. He's going to the ground, making the catch. You have to maintain control all the way to the ground. Nothing to challenge there.
Now 3rd down and 7 from the 23-yard line. Manning has to step up, shoots one underneath, but a tackle is made by Lee, and that holds Jennings a little bit short of the first down.
What a fantastic play by Sean Lee. First, he disrupts the crossing route coming across his face. It's going to come in here, and then he's going to step up and make the tackle short of the first down. I mean, that is just fantastic linebacker play.
So the Giants compelled to punt from their own 29. Brad Wing will send it in the direction of Cole Beasley. And Wing goes down, but there's no flag. It's a good kick to the 15-yard line. And Beasley with a flag down. What else is new? Takes it back to the 27. Yeah, tell me. 57-yard punt. For the moment, a 10-yard return, but guess what?
Whatever the maximum.
During the return, holding number 23 receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Holding, blocking the back, you name it. Back after this. For King of the Road, Ezekiel Elliott went to John Burroughs School in Ladue, Missouri, suburb of St. Louis. Lost 3 games as a freshman. Then didn't lose any more. Didn't lose any at Ohio State. 6-0 as a Cowboy, so 38-3 in road games for Ezekiel Elliott. And here's a roll by Prescott, who then throws over the middle. That's a dangerous pass, intended for Witten. And O'Wara having a big night, got a hand on it. 2nd and 10. So Zeke, tremendous career, obviously, at Ohio State. Again, the number 4 pick in the draft behind a couple of quarterbacks and the defensive end Joey Bosa. And the Cowboys pick up another gem. 89 yards tonight and a 5.6 average. 2nd and 10. And Elliott, they faked it to him. Prescott keeps it. It'll be 3rd down. We go to Michelle.
Well, growing up in Missouri, Zeke was a big fan of Marshall Faulk, and I recently spoke to Faulk, who told me that Ezekiel Elliott reached out to him when he was still in college at Ohio State. He was looking for on-the-field and off-the-field advice, and Faulk said, "I'm always reminding him, as good as you are, you can always improve and become a smarter player faster than I did before your talent leaves you."
Well, Elliott, you read the internet this week, a lot of stories that he never lost a game on the road, but that falls into the category of fake news.
Seen a little of that this week too.
3rd and 9, and here is Witten, and Witten tries to get that first down with a stiff arm and can't, as the Giants converge on him, and it will be 4th down.
Just been so impressed with some of the play from these guys. Eli Apple that time, maybe one of the smaller guys on the field, a cornerback. It looked like Witten was going to escape and get this first down, but it was Apple coming up to cut his legs and keep him short of that first down. What a job by these two defenses tonight. I'm telling you, this is superior defensive play, what we've seen so far.
It's borne out by this is the 12th punt of the game. 6 for each team. Back in the finish for a fair catch, and then the ball may have hit him, and if it did, it's a live ball at the 44-yard line, and the Giants feel they have recovered. But who's at the bottom of the pile?
No question, it hit Beckham. I've been in that situation before. It looks like the Giants are going to keep possession. Boy, I tell you, when that ball gets up there and it doesn't turn over, it comes down almost like a frisbee. It'll come down almost straight down. And as great as Beckham is at judging the flight of the ball in the air, that one fooled him, and it almost cost the Giants in a big way.
And Beckham has not been their number 1 returner. That's been Dwayne Harris. He's been on special teams tonight, but he was on the injury report this week, and they sent Beckham back to receive all the punts. Now from the 44-yard line, they give the ball to Paul Perkins for a gain of 2.
You know, it's so interesting. You get a chance to watch teams grow over the course of a year, and this defense for the Dallas Cowboys Had no real pass rushers on it. They were suspended. To watch them grow into this kind of defense has been stunning. What a job Rod Marinelli has done with them.
No doubt, as the defensive coordinator. I mean, that was the Achilles heel last year among the issues they had. Obviously, a quarterback and defense as well. And that hole closes as Perkins again takes it to midfield, where it'll be 3rd down and 4. David Irving makes the tackle, and there is Marinelli.
There we go. Here's the kind of hustle that Rod Marinelli puts together out of this defense. David Irving basically cut to the ground, immediately gets up and makes that play.
Giants 0 for 7 on 3rd down tonight. Cowboys are 1 for 9. The combined record of these two teams on 3rd down tonight, 1 out of 16, which is why we've had 12 punts. And this is Perkins, who is able to pick up the 1st down this time. Durant couldn't drag him down until he'd already moved the chains at the 44-yard line.
Yeah, maybe this Paul Perkins is a bit of the answer here, because here's a guy that now has been getting some opportunities lately. He really was not much of a factor early, but 40 of his 50 carries in the last 5 games, and he's perked up this offense a little bit here in the second half.
Over the middle to the 40-yard line. Another short pass. Adams, rookie backup tight end, 6th-round pick out of South Carolina, makes the grab.
Yeah, and those are body punches basically by Eli Manning. So you keep throwing it underneath, and you draw the defense forward, and then you hit something in behind it. That's a good 1st down play.
2nd and 5. Cowboys shift along that defensive front. Inside handoff here, and it's going to set up a 3rd down and 2 with Perkins carrying again.
And now you get the answer when the Giants get their running game going a little bit. Watch what you have to do defensively. Out of the deep center field, Byron Jones is going to come down to make that play.
3rd and 2. Giants again going 3 wide. The basic formation. Shepard out of the slot. Give it to Perkins, and he's going to get wrapped up. Sean Lee, again, ball came out. Cowboys feel they have it, but you can tell with Barry Church's reaction they don't. But it'll be 4th down.
Well, Sean Lee just keeps undercutting these plays. Watch, going to get Newhouse coming around, but basically Sean Lee is going in the back door here to make these plays and stop them short. Now 4th down and 2, and they're going.
4th, and it's actually closer to 3 yards that they need to pick up. Manning out of the gun with Perkins flanking him. And Eli fires over the middle, and that will be caught for a 1st down by Sterling Shepard.
Gonna get right there. They tried to drop a linebacker right underneath it, and I think that was Anthony Hitchens, just ran right by it. They had the perfect defense on. He just overran that funnel coverage just a bit.
14 yards. It's the 2nd time they've converted on 4th down. And to the 21-yard line goes Perkins, where he gets wrestled back. 6.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Cowboys trying to cement the NFC East. Giants trying to make sure they hold on to a decent wild card opportunity.
And it looks like McAdoo's committed to coming out here and trying to be a little more physical, take some pressure off of those 2 tackles in pass protection.
9th play of this drive. They've had 6 runs, 2 passes. Here comes the 3rd for Beckham, and he was forced to the boundary. Brandon Carr gave him no space at all. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Brandon Carr is playing really well out here against Beckham. Watch him just squeeze Beckham into the boundary. Basically drives him out of bounds without a foul. Nowhere for Eli to go.
2 years ago it was Carr covering Beckham on the night of the catch.
Hey, Oregon!
3rd and 9. And Manning throws, and that's dropped by Beckham. Would have been a yard shy, but if he could have spun out of it, they would have had a first down. Instead, now they have to send in the field goal unit.
Wow. Didn't even have his eyes anywhere close to the ball. Could you see his eyes already looking right at Jeff Heath, number 38 there? Just forgot to do the little things, the fundamentals. He cannot drop that ball from right there. He's too good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost impossible for him to drop that one.
39-yard attempt now for Robbie Gould, longtime Chicago Bear, and the Giants are finally able to get on the board. It takes them almost 40 minutes to do it. 7-3 Cowboys. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency by BMW. We want to make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. By State Farm, here to help life go right. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. Crews making a visit to Brick Township High School. Awarding the town the Tri-State Area's Football Town Award, courtesy of the Giants and USA Football. And the Mara family, of course, go all the way back. John Mara, the president, CEO, co-owner, along with Steve Tisch of this iconic franchise. Short kick here, fielded up at the 11-yard line by Alfred Morris. And the former Redskin takes it back to the 23-yard line. 5:44 left in the third with the Cowboys up by 4. Tomorrow and Tuesday, don't miss The Voice finale. Live event of the season. Who will win? The Voice. Tomorrow and Tuesday at 8 Eastern and Pacific, 7 Central and Mountain right here on NBC. MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands. 4-point lead for the Dallas Cowboys with 5:44 in the third. And then here goes Elliott to the outside. Well, Jason Garrett took over in the midway through the 09 season, took over full-time in 10. And then he felt one of the things that had to be done was we got to rebuild the offensive line. So who was his first ever draft choice? One, Tyron Smith. How's that worked out?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely perfect because he's exactly the kind of guy you want to build your program around. Hardest working guy on the team. They say he's a little like Mark Tuinei back in the day, one of their great offensive linemen. He's the one guy that nobody on the team messes with. You can have a little fun with him, but you can't push it too far.
Go back to his days at USC. He was actually recruited by Pete Carroll. There goes Elliott, and again showing that patience. Down the sideline he goes. And he will be up and over 100 yards after that run. 102 yards now, and it's Tyron Smith leading the way.
And here we go. Watch Tyron Smith come out in the open field working against a cornerback. How many times can an offensive lineman even figure out where a cornerback is going to go, and he knocks Eli Apple right over the apple cart? Man, that is not a good feeling if you're number 24 seeing 77 sizing you up.
6'5", 320, going over a guy 6'1", 200. Fake. Rolling out. Open. Beasley. That's a first down. And a few yards more as well before he is taken away by Cody Sensabaugh. A gain of 18.
Cole Beasley is a clever guy out there. He sometimes can just lull defensive backs into believing that he's blocking or taking a play off. Watch him here. He's just going to come out. He's kind of, yeah, okay. Then he comes out and there's nobody there. Cody Sensabaugh bought into it that he was loafing, and believe me, Cole Beasley was not.
Under 4 minutes to play in the third. A first down from the 46. Elliott. He'll get stopped at the 45-yard line by Vernon, and we go to Michelle.
You guys were talking about Tyron Smith. Zach Martin told me there's a healthy competition across the offensive line, but it's Tyron Smith who sets the bar. Martin said Smith comes to work with a purpose. He said there are so many little things to work on as an offensive lineman, and Tyron is always working and getting better, and that makes the rest of us want to just keep up, Al.
Yeah, 3 times, Michelle, to the Pro Bowl. As good as it gets at left tackle.
Believe me, Zach Martin's keeping up.
Second down and 8. They give it to Beasley. He gets a nice block and may have picked up the first down. And a flag comes down.
Terrence Williams was the one out there on the edge. Did he hold?
Number 83 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Here we go, coming out of the left side of your screen right there. That arm around the shoulder of Eli Apple got caught. It's so easy to stay on attack. Oh man, so easy to stay in front of the guy. It's always when the guy is running by and the defensive player is moving, you just tend to grab.
Second down and 15 from the 49-yard line. Prescott hanging in there, and he will slide to a stop. Everybody covered, and that will set up a third down and long.
They have done a magnificent job with their corner play tonight. These are really top-end receivers in the Dallas Cowboys, and these three corners, they may not be quite to what we see in Denver, but they deserve to be in the conversation right now. They're playing really well.
Third down, last two games. That's the Minnesota game, which they won, and this one they have had troubles. Dunbar in there, per usual on third down. 3rd and 15. Prescott under pressure, going deep downfield, and that's going to be picked off at the 9-yard line. Intended for Bryant. You got Leon Hall with a good run back. Ooh, all kinds of action with the blocking and attempted tackling, and he brings it back to the 39-yard line. And Eli Apple took a big shot on the run back, but the Giants get it back. Premier League Sunday is on NBCSN. Two great soccer houses meeting as Man City hosts Arsenal, 10:30 Eastern. Premier League Sunday coverage beginning at 7:30 on NBCSN. That shot looking south to north from Lower Manhattan and across to the Meadowlands after the interception. The Giants begin this drive with Jennings going nowhere, and you've got a half dozen Dallas Cowboys there to greet him. Back to the pick we go.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that Dez Bryant believed with the free safety in the middle of the field that this ball was going to be thrown. He never picked up where it was. He looked back, but then it was Janoris Jenkins that basically undercut him, and so it was a free play basically for Leon Hall to make that catch.
And a good run back, and Prescott had 2 interceptions in 12 games, 2 tonight, and that's Beckham making the catch. And off to the races he goes. Carr chasing him down. Can't get him. Touchdown Giants. They take the lead. "61 yards after the interception."
There is nobody like him. I'm telling you, with the ball in his hands, he has to be the most exciting player in the National Football League. He's giving it the coronation wave.
Right.
Wow. You know, he's dropped a couple of key passes, and then it just explodes.
So the Giants finally get the big play they need. Robbie Gould for the point after. 67 seconds left in the third. The Giants up 10-7.
Eli knows it's man coverage because Sean Lee is going to run right out, and it's going to come right in behind him. Just a single high safety, and when you get the single high safety, somebody has to try and tackle Odell Beckham, and nobody can catch him. Unbelievable what that guy has done since he's come in the league. And when he gets his hands on the ball and there is an ounce of space out there, just so explosive.
The Giants had 128 yards all night long until that play. 61 to Beckham 1:07 remaining in the third. Odell on 60-yard or more pass plays. 9 touchdowns in his third season in the league.
Man, oh man, oh man.
First 3 seasons, Harlan Hill, a former Chicago Bear great. Cruz had 7. Homer Jones, another Giant, 7. So you got 3 Giants on that panel.
I hope he stayed away from the kicking net on that one. We've seen enough of that one. But
he made peace with the kicking net.
Yeah, I know. You know, his mom was an All-American sprinter at LSU. His dad played football, and that is a magical combination. Their son is dynamite.
Robbie Gould's kickoff. Dunbar's going to come out with it. Not very far. He's racked up at the 13. Deontay Skinner there to take him down, and Kennard.
It's like one of those, I'm killing them out here. Somebody come help them. But really, but that's the problem you have with great players, isn't it? They can have an off night, they can drop some balls, but you know they're just one swing of the bat away from changing everything.
One big swing. So Prescott, terrific against everybody but New York on opening day and thus far tonight from the 13-yard line. Start this drive on the ground, and Elliott gets wrestled back. Oyokwara will be second down.
I tell you, the New York Giants may have a bit of a breakout star here. Right here, Romeo Okwara just getting a chance basically in this game because of the injury to Jason Pierre-Paul. The scouting report on him was that, you know, he does everything okay, but nothing really great. I'm not so sure I would agree with that at this point. Everything he's done so far, he's added some quickness inside to some of those rush moves that have really helped.
And they could get JPP back conceivably in the playoffs. Here's Witten making the catch, and he will go nowhere as he is taken down by Landon Collins. It'll be 3rd down and 5, and that will probably take place at the start of the 4th quarter.
Who's playing better than Landon Collins right now?
And the Giant defense. End of 3. 10-7 New York. Sunday Night Football. Back after these messages. And tonight's aerial coverage is being brought to you by Geico. Great shot of the Statue of Liberty. Jersey City on the left. On the right, the island of Manhattan. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya. Towels waving at the Meadowlands. Good ball game. 10-7. Giants on top. It's 3rd down and 5 for the Dallas Cowboys from their own 19-yard line. 1 out of 10 on the Cowboys on 3rd down. And make it 1 out of 11. Intended for Bryant. Broken up by DRC. Dominique Rodgers. Cromartie in his 4th down.
Well, there's your slot cornerback we've been talking about. You have to have 3 if you're going to play these man coverages. They've been doing well on the outside, but on 3rd down, throw just barely behind Des Bryant. And now this crowd and the Giants are starting to believe that they may get the Cowboys a 2nd time here.
Now they put Dwayne Harris back there, their regular punt returner, but they haven't been using him in that role tonight. They've had Beckham back there. And Chris Jones with a booming kick. Real beauty. Fielded at the 31-yard line by Harris, a former Cowboy, who gets stopped at the 34-yard line. That was a 50-yard punt. Walter Payton Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide, recognizing players who've made a significant impact on both the game and in their communities, and each team gets to nominate one guy. The nominees this year for the Cowboys, Sean Lee, and for the Giants, Eli Manning, and the winner will be announced on the NFL Honors Program the night before the Super Bowl, which is Saturday, the 4th of February.
There are so many guys in the league doing so many great things, and they make a mistake, and man, we're all over it, right? But these guys are really making a difference in their communities.
From the 34-yard line. Perkins, good run. Gain of 8, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Eli Manning's is nominated for the award for the second straight year. He was a finalist last year. He works on numerous fronts fundraising for the fight against pediatric cancer. Sean Lee, the Cowboys nominee, because of his service, which includes a deep devotion to the Boys and Girls Clubs. He told me he had 2 incredible parents. He wants to help less fortunate kids have access to positive adult role models, Al.
And this is a first down for Perkins. And Michelle, yeah, we had the chance, obviously, through the years to meet with Manning and with Lee numerous times, and no surprise to us that they're the 2 nominees.
Nope. Tell you one thing that was a surprise to me was that Cole Beasley was not in on that third down play last time the Cowboys had the ball, and I don't see him on the sideline, but I'm sure he's there somewhere. I just can't find him.
From the 45-yard line. Manning hands the ball to Perkins again, and Perkins squirts through that small hole. Flag is thrown, a flag at the 45-yard line, which is the line of scrimmage.
Holding, number 73 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Marshall Newhouse, and that negates what would have been a 21-yard run.
Just a killer here. They pop one out of there. This is their favorite power play, and just as he started to get off, you could see Newhouse grab hold. But I tell you, McAdoo's change coming out here in the second half and trying to stay with the power running game and stay with Perkins in this half has made a difference. But now it's first down and 20.
From the 35, Scandrick on a blitz, forces the quick throw, and then Shepard avoids a tackle and almost another one and takes the ball to the 48-yard line. Got away from Byron Jones, and that's a gain of 17 to make it second down and 3.
Tough coverage here. You're going to have Scandrick coming from here, which means you're going to have to get your safety. Byron Jones coming a long way against a very quick receiver and just unable to get him on the ground that time against Shepard. Huge first down play on first down and 20.
Makes it a second down and 3. They bring Jennings into the game, and Rashad Jennings will carry it for a yard, and that sets up a big third down and call it 2. Looks like they've got a communication issue here, because when you go to the walkie-talkie, that's not the normal way to do it. So McAdoo calls in the plays. Has to go to the walkie-talkie, and we'll see what he dials up here on a 3rd and 2 for Manning.
Anthony Brown, one-on-one, the young player.
And throw it to Beckham, and he gets taken down by Carr. Church also converges on the stop. Beckham stares at the Cowboy bench as he picks up the first down.
Yeah, he's starting to feel it now. I tell you, for a guy that's not that big, Beckham, a very physical guy. I think it's sometimes why he gets the calls going against him, but he's been big on some of those 3rd and 4th downs.
This is the Giants' 50th play of the game. The Cowboys have run 50 as well. And that is caught, and it popped immediately as Victor Cruz hit by Anthony Brown. Giants picking up the pace, going without a huddle.
I tell you have to give a little credit to Anthony Brown, basically thrown in there because of the injury to Morris Claiborne, and he has done a job here over the past few weeks.
2nd and 6. Jennings, big hole, all the way to the 23-yard line. So that Giant run game working against the number 2 run defense in the league, and that's a gain of 13.
Sean Lee's going to come up and think that it's right there between the double teams, and then Jennings going to jump to the other side for the big run.
Ten and a half left in the 4th. Stay on the ground. Jennings picks up 1. Back to Michelle again.
Well, we've seen Eli Manning a couple times here in the second half complain that he could not hear the plays being called in. The equipment manager went to the backup helmet tried to get that working, realized that the only way they could communicate with Eli was with that walkie-talkie. So the equipment manager ran to McAdoo, handed the walkie-talkie, and there we go, Al.
Normally you see that when you're on the road, not at home. If there's a communication issue. Second down and 9 from the 22. Manning hangs in there, and that pass is picked off the 16. Speaking of Anthony Brown, what a play. Victor Cruz, the intended receiver, and Eli Manning throws the pick. That ends that drive. Dallas the ball back, 10-7 New York. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 2 years in a row. By Wendy's. By Samsung Pay, turn your phone into your wallet. And by Blue Diamond Almonds, get your good going. Custom Sunday Night Football wrapping paper, courtesy of FLM Graphics in Fairfield, New Jersey. Like it?
Get some of that.
Yeah. After that interception, rookie Brown, first of his career, start this drive with a 4-yard run by Ezekiel Elliott. Another look at the interception.
Watch the eyes of Anthony Brown, the young rookie, looking right back in the backfield at Eli Manning. Just feels where Victor Cruz is and makes that jump on the ball, and the interception beautifully done. What an amazing job he has done stepping in for Morris Claiborne, and Eli Manning can't believe it.
Second down and 6. 9 minutes left in regulation. Play action. Prescott hits, he throws, but gets it away, and it's caught up at the 31-yard line by Terrence Williams, who scored the Cowboy touchdown in the first quarter.
Yeah, unlike Victor Cruz, watch the way Terrence Williams comes back to the football here to make sure that there's no interceptions. Good job coming back, helping your quarterback.
He's caught 4 tonight. Witten's caught 4. Beasley's caught 4. And Bryant's caught none.
And had 2 interceptions on balls thrown to him.
And wrapped up in the backfield. That's Damon Harrison, big number 98, stuffing with the line of scrimmage.
Man, Snacks, what a play that was against Travis Frederick. One of the best centers in the game. Right here, watch this move. That is something else for a big guy.
Elliott's 22nd carry of the night. He's averaging 5 yards per tote.
Got those teeth growling at you.
Second and 11. Giants show blitz. Here they come. Pass is incomplete. Bryant along the sideline. Rogers Cromartie blitzing.
We've been talking about it all night long. This Giants secondary is having a fantastic game tonight across the board. Here's Landon Collins, the tremendous young safety who's had such a big year. Janoris Jenkins, I think, has made the biggest difference on this Giants football team. What a job he's done on Dez Bryant here, cutting him off so Leon Hall can make that interception.
So 3rd and 11 for a team right now that's 1 for 11 on 3rd down. This time the pistol, and they keep Elliott in the game. Normally it's Dunbar on 3rd down. Little toss to Elliott, and he's going to get wrapped up at the 24-yard line by Kennard.
They are flying. They are flying around the field. There's Kennard right in here, I believe, comes up, oh, just inside of him to make that play in the backfield. And this is a fantastic effort. I did not think this possible without Jason Pierre-Paul. They have been sensational on defense.
Just tremendous. A team that last year had all the problems in the world defensively. The difference this year is made. A fair catch is called for and made at the 31-yard line by Beckham. 6:55 left in the Meadowlands. 10-7 Giants. Thursday night, That starts week 15. Back to the Pacific Northwest we go. It's the Rams against the Seahawks. They're your owners. John Mara, Steve Tisch owning the Giants. Jerry Jones owning the Cowboys since '89. And this drive begins with Barry Church taking Paul Perkins down at the line of scrimmage.
You know, how you really think about this game. The Giants have the one big play to Beckham. Cowboys have the one big play to Terrence Williams. A field goal for the Giants and a doink at the end of the half off the crossbar, and that's the only difference.
Right. The 55-yarder by Bailey hitting the crossbar flush. Halftime score was 7-0. The Giants with all 10 points in the third. Second down and 9. Oh, what a stop job there by Sean Lee. Paul Perkins, how do you do?
Eric Flowers is the backside puller here. Has to come up tighter because Sean Lee is just destroying these running backs. He just doesn't make that turn sharp enough to get up there, and Lee has been running behind that pulling blocker all night long. What a shot that was.
Great night. Just another one for Sean Lee. Giants faced with a 3rd and 11. Play clock is at 1. And they run the ball and pick up about 8. Perkins taking it up to the 39 as they just did get the snap off. But in comes Brad Wing. This will be his 7th punt of the night. It's the 15th punt in the game.
Boy, as it should be, right? This time of year, you get divisional games. We've seen them the whole rest of the month now. You're going to see teams within the division who know each other so well playing these big games.
Cole Beasley. And he can get a return. Meanwhile, you had a lot of action with the punter, Wing, but there's no flag, and Beasley pulls that one in at the 11-yard line. And the crowd booing the officials. They wanted roughing or running into the kicker. Don't get it. Picked a good one to flex into next Sunday night. The Tampa Bay Bucks, red hot. They won 5 in a row. Beat the Saints today against the Cowboys. Detroit's also won 5. So next week, we follow the Cowboys back to Arlington against the Bucks on Sunday Night Football. Here's Elliott from the 11-yard line. Plunges forward for a gain of 2. Vernon makes the tackle. 2nd down and 8 for Dallas.
Play of the night so far by Olivier Vernon going up against Tyron Smith. We've been talking about him all night long. Here he is right in there. Holds him up, gets off the block, and makes the play.
Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator. His team, his offense bogging down. Only 17 at Minnesota and only 7 tonight in the first 56 minutes of the game. 2nd down and 8. And Prescott's almost taken down. They had him by the back of the leg and he throws incomplete. So he just does avoid the sack. Aquarin there again. What a night he is having. And boy, if they can get JPP back with Vernon and this kid. 3rd and 8. Crowd rising as one at the Meadowlands. Dez has not caught a pass tonight. Prescott's 14 of 29 for 144.
They've been bringing pressure. Let's see if they do it again.
Play clock at 0. They get it away. It goes to Williams, but he's going to be stopped short of the 1st down. He signals 1st down. He's not going to get it. Jenkins makes the tackle, and that's going to make it 4th down.
I love the play call here. You're going to end up with a blitz. They know you're going to throw hot. Just make the tackle short of the sticks, which they do. And this has been one tremendous night tonight by Janoris Jenkins. Whatever they paid him, it was well worth it. He's been fantastic.
Free agent came over from the Rams. You got Beckham back. Jones punting for the 9th time in the game. He's averaging 41.5. And another good deep kick. Beckham at the 28. Taken down at the 32-yard line. With 3 minutes to go, 52-yard punt, 5-yard return. 3 minutes left in a 3-point game. Playoff picture, Dallas 11-1. Down in this one, Detroit is now in the 2 spot. Seattle losing today, leading in the West, and Atlanta leading in the South. The wild cards at this moment would be the Giants and Tampa Bay. 3 minutes remaining in regulation. Each team with its full complement of timeouts. And we have the 2-minute warning as well as Jennings gets stopped at the line of scrimmage and the Cowboys take a timeout. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
How good have these two defenses been out here tonight? It's been incredible. On 3rd down, Dallas is 1 for 13 behind that offensive line. Ezekiel Elliott 1 for 13, and the New York Giants on 3rd down 2 for 12. So in all the clutch situations, these two defenses have made all but 1 play each.
Right.
The only difference is that on 4th down, they're a combined 3 for 3. Go figure.
Get to 4th. Maybe that's the key. 2nd down and 11. From their own 32-yard line. Oh, he's lucky that one wasn't picked off. Justin Durant spun around, almost had it. And that's the break for the Cowboys there, even though they don't get the pick, is it stops the clock. 3rd and 11.
One of the problems when you turn your back to make a play fake the way Eli is going to do here with a little loop, you lose sight of that linebacker dropping underneath. And that was so close for Justin Durant.
So it's 3rd down and 11. And they keep it on the ground, and it is Jennings who will take the ball up to the 37-yard line. So it is 4th down. And the Cowboys will take their 2nd timeout. Little recap of the game, a defensive struggle, but you had Prescott throwing this pick early on to Jenkins. 2 total in the game for him, equaling his season total. Beckham got free for the Giant touchdown. Kennard makes a big play there. That Giant defense has just been superb.
You know what this is like, Al? Like when you watch a great pitching matchup in baseball and it's a 1-0 game and 1 mistake here and 1 mistake there, and you just get the feeling it's going to be one of those 1-play kind of games.
Right. It's a 1-1 tie in the 9th inning as we head down the stretch. Brad Wing with the punt. Fair catch called for, made 24-yard line by Beasley. The Giants last year, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't close anything out in the 4th quarter. This year in the 4th quarter, 21 drives they faced when the opponent had the chance to take the lead, and only 3 times have they surrendered that lead. Eli Manning in the 4th quarter has led 5 game-winning drives, 2nd highest in a single season with the Giants. So the Giants last year couldn't close anything out. And this year they've done a very good job at the end of several games. Can they do it again here?
Now, this was the worst defense in football a season ago. There's really no other way to say it. They've given up 420 yards a game, and to put on this kind of a show so far here tonight, but you've got to close the door.
And now you've got the play clock going to 0, but they get the play off. Now you've got Prescott running out of the pocket. Oh, fighting for his life. And is it picked off? No! Rogers Cromartie diving for it. Almost came up with it. Vernon put the pressure on Prescott that time all night long. Putting the heat on Dak, and it's 2nd down and 10.
Take a look. They had it and couldn't quite hang on with it. It hit the ground. Oh, and then the stick may have knocked it out. It did. The guy with the stick should have laid that thing down and gotten the heck out of Dodge. He might have held on to it.
2nd down and 10. Prescott pressured again, has to sling it to the outside, and that's caught by Dunbar. And he steps out of bounds at the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Cowboys have an interesting choice here. If it's 4th and 6 or even more, you got one timeout, you got the 2-minute warning, you're backed up at your own 28-yard line. First things first, 3rd down and 6. Giants show blitz. Here they come. Prescott gets it away and it's caught. And then it's dropped. It's fumbled by Bryant and it's picked up by Collins. And Landon Collins to the 37-yard line. So Bryant finally makes a catch, and then he coughs it up.
Same deal, same exact thing. 3rd and long, blitz. Play the hot read. This time they hit it to Des Bryant, and he can't hang on to the ball. Let's see the old catch, no catch. He tucks it away, and just a good play by Jenkins.
Completed pass followed by a fumble. That fumble recovered by the defense. 1st down.
The only question is, would he have been going to the ground as he was making that catch? But he sure had a lot of action with the ball in his hands. Let's count the number of steps. This is the way they'll judge it in real-time speed. I think he would have stayed upright, don't you? I don't think he was going to the ground. He was making a cut. There was an element of time, whatever that means.
There's an official review here because it was a turnover. Jenkins created it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. 1st down Giants.
All turnovers reviewed, so you didn't have to challenge that one. Sheffers went under the hood, but they rule it a completed pass, makes what they call in the parlance of the game a football move as he turns upfield. Jenkins extracts it, Collins picks it up, and the Giants have the ball.
Thought it was the right call, didn't you?
I did too. Yeah, there wasn't enough to overturn it.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Cowboys should be able to get the ball back here if they hold them, because they can take a timeout. They have 1 left plus the 2-minute warning. So they could get the Giants to a 3rd down play with 2 minutes to go. Jennings is the running back. And Jennings will pick up a couple, and then the Cowboys will take a timeout here. Then it will stop at the 2-minute warning, and if they can hold them, it'll be 3rd down. So Dallas, meanwhile, as we stated at the top of the show, they can clinch the division, they can clinch a 1st-round bye, but all of a sudden the Giants now, and they would have been kind of, in a dubious position in terms of the wild card had they lost, and now they may be in the driver's seat for a wild card spot.
Well, and you think about this Giants team. Okay, they get beat in Pittsburgh. Big deal. Everybody gets beat in Pittsburgh. I got beat all the time when I was playing there. The longest stretch of games I ever played without losing a game was 5. The Giants had a 6-game winning streak going into Pittsburgh. I know some of the competition, but people wrote this team off very early after one loss to Pittsburgh.
And they took some heat here for one day after they lost to Pittsburgh, and then the Jets took all the heat away from them in their performance against Indianapolis on Monday. And this will be a 3-yard gain, setting up a 3rd down and 4, and that stops the clock at the 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes left in the Meadowlands in a tight one, 10-7 New York. That's what comes your way on the Volkswagen postgame report. Michelle on the field, stars of the game. Bob, Tony, and Mike break it down, look ahead. And we will look ahead to the games we have on NBC this week. Rams Seahawks Thursday, Bucks Cowboys Sunday. So it comes down to this. It's 3rd down and 3. If the Giants pick up a 1st down here, they can run the clock out. And they will not be able to, but they will take about 40 seconds off the clock here. And now the Giants are in a situation where would you attempt a 50-yard field goal? I wouldn't, but we'll see. It's going to be 4th down, and they will take the clock as far down as they can. to leave Dallas as little time as they can.
You have to have a lot of trust in your punter if you're going to punt it, because if he kicks it in the end zone, you only gain 11 yards on that process. But if you miss the field goal, you leave it back around the 40-yard line going the other way.
And there's Bryant itching to get back in the game. Giants take a timeout with 1:15. And for the moment,
they could go for it here.
You could.
You know, if you're not comfortable with the field goal attempt and where you might leave that, you could at very least go out there and try and hard count this thing and see what happens.
Well, Manning comes back out. The offense stays in.
Because even if you don't pick up the first down, you gain essentially 8-9 yards on where a missed field goal would be. It's a really interesting decision.
Very.
And I don't think anything's wrong here. I think they're all in play.
Giants have converted on 4th and 3 twice tonight. Will they snap it? Trying to draw him offside. Yeah, I was thinking I would punt.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And now they will send in the punting group. If I was the Cowboys right now, I would decline the penalty.
I would too,
yeah.
Because it's an uncomfortable spot for a punter to try and half pooch it. It's like a half wedge in golf. Nobody wants to hit those.
Mickelson's pretty good at it.
Well, yeah, there's a couple guys.
Yeah, right.
Nobody hits it like you do, though.
Yeah, right. So Brad Wing, his 9th punt. Beasley is back at the 10-yard line. A spinner. And the Giants are going to down it at the 2-yard line. That Dwayne Harris is some special teams guy, and the Cowboys know that all too well. Started his career there.
Well, the really interesting part is that Dwayne Harris is smart enough to know that even though no fair catch is signaled by Beasley, he's going to let that thing go. And that's the 2nd time tonight he's gotten to one inside the 5-yard line. So Dwayne Harris with the bad ankle, they weren't even sure they were going to activate him on special teams, gets the wiggly fingers because that's 2 tonight he's made.
Yep. Just perfect.
Okay, Dak Prescott, you want to be the MVP?
Well,
take him 97 yards here.
Well, a little less than that to set up what would be a field goal attempt to maybe send the game into overtime. But they start now from the 3. From the end zone to the outside, too high, intended for Witten. And that'll make it 2nd down and 10.
He's going to get the MVP as he scored a touchdown.
Well, the Cowboys have scored 30 or more points 5 times this year. Held to 17, but did win the game a week ago Thursday in Minnesota. And just 7 points tonight. 4 game-winning drives in the 4th quarter overtime. So Elliott and Romo on the bench. Got Dunbar in the backfield. 2nd down and 10. Prescott under pressure again, throws, and that's incomplete. Dunbar stayed in the block and flares out over the middle, and it's 3rd down and 10. Beckham cheerleading.
There it is, the matchup of the night. Olivier Vernon able to get Dak Prescott off the spot despite just a 3-man rush. He does it all. A little cheerleading, and you know that guy wishes he had a chance.
Cowboys 1 for 14 on 3rd down. 3rd and 10. Just a 3-man rush this time, and that's flipped away. Deflected by Kennard. Having a nice game. So the Cowboys down to the last gasp.
And they're doing this with a 3-man rush. And so if you're Dak Prescott, I know it's risky because if you move around and your offensive line holds, it's a safety. but it's 4th down here. If they come with another 3-man rush, probably should use his mobility, scramble around a bit, and see if somebody can work their way open down the field.
4th down. Witten comes in for more protection in the backfield. Prescott from the end zone fires over the middle, and that is at the 20-yard line. Des Bryant, who makes the catch, going to the ground, holds on to it.
Or did he?
Or did he is the question. And it has to be reviewed. And did they get the stoppage before the next snap?
On the field of a catch is under review.
Boy, they just did get the review called in before the next step. Obviously, the Cowboys trying to get up there. They had no timeouts. Try to avoid the review, and you're going to get clearly an incomplete pass here.
Wow. Guess who?
Jenkins.
Janoris Jenkins again. What a night he's had. And the crowd just saw the replay, and they know it is game over. The Giants have done it again.
So the Cowboys are going to go to 11-2, and the 2 were the Giants. And the Giants, talking about the wild card situation, still have a chance. Spagnuolo congratulates Jenkins on a phenomenal night.
Man, oh man.
Giants could still win the division. I mean, they're 2 back of the Cowboys, but if they got to even, they had the same record at the end of the year.
After review, the ruling on the field has been changed. It is an incomplete pass. It'll be 1st and goal for the Giants at the 3-yard line. Please set the game clock to 48 seconds.
So if the 2 teams wind up with the same record, the Giants would win the tiebreak by virtue of sweeping the season series.
What a turnaround for this New York Giants defense. Last year, they couldn't get out of their own way. They signed those 3 free agents. Jason Pierre-Paul comes back. They draft Eli Apple. And this was some defensive performance. I know they've had a lot of great defenses in New York with the Giants, but this performance tonight was something special.
Giants came into the game with the 17th ranked defense, 9th in points per game allowed. One more kneel down, and that will take us to the finish. So the Giants won on opening day, and they win in week 14. And for Prescott, 17 of 37, so under 50%, 165 yards and 2 interceptions tonight, equaling his season total coming into the game. And for Des Bryant, giving up the ball at the end. Some reactions by Magnet too. He'll take it. And the Cowboys head back, ready to meet the red-hot Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week on Sunday Night Football. Big night at MetLife Stadium. Coming up next, Volkswagen post-game report after these messages from your local station.